this might be a tough decision right now.
My team did absolutely
NFL games that were like, whoa.
I actually don't
Had
understand.
a lot of mixed feelings.
Welcome, Disgruntled. We have another guest here on the League of the Lanes.
You got so many markers now. You're not even gonna know which one to use.
I'm gonna use all of them. I'm gonna individually
shit. Wait.
them.
I have to reset this as well.
He's messing up. He's on the verge of getting
you
fired.
messed up. You messed up. You didn't watch that.
What do you mean I didn't watch it? How am I
Shut up.
supposed to watch it? We were looking up
Very
some cool
self-explanatory.
Okay, I'm watching it now.
Thank you. Now, today, we are going to talk about the playoffs because we went from 8 teams
to 4.
Whoa.
Or 2.
We cut them in half.
Yes.
All right. Whereas the previous week we went from 12 to 8, which we weeded some out, sure, but it didn't feel like a brutal annihilation of the field, right? But we cut it in half this time, from 8 to 4. Only 4 left. Conference championship week. That's what we call this week.
Yeah.
And then conference championship Sunday, which is when both championships will be. No more Saturday games. If you really liked getting your weekend started with some football, too bad. You're going to have to wait another day. Watch your games on good old football Sunday.
Like a normal person, how it's meant
shut
to
the
be.
fuck up, dude. Yeah, we get you miss college football and whatever else. We don't care, though.
But you know what we should care about? Me winning this week.
What'd you
in
win?
predictions.
Oh, yes. The divisional round, we predicted the winner. We predicted their final scores each and which player could score the first touchdown. And starting off, we had the Chiefs and the Jaguars. And Caleb was very successful, correctly guessing the Chiefs, which I did as well. And correctly guessing that they would score 27. And correctly guessing that Travis Kelce would be the first person to score a touchdown. A very great, I can't say sweep, but a good round of predictions from Caleb. He didn't sweep this particular game because he said 13 for the Jaguars' final score, and they ended up scoring another touchdown to make it 20, and only a 7-point deficit against the Chiefs, who seem like, in a lot of minds, are like the favorites to win it all.
Yeah, but not my favorites. But the key headline that I would take out of this is that Patrick Mahomes injury that he faced. We are just on the same schedule, aren't we? Because I was thinking Patrick Mahomes, and you searched it up. Yeah. That's how you know that we've been co-hosting for 3 years now. But that's going to be interesting to see what happens in the conference championship, whether or not that's going to affect his play or not. But he was able to come back with a high ankle sprain, I believe it is. So they just injected him with some painkillers and just. Andy Reid smacked him on the ass and be like, get the fuck out there. We need you to win, okay? Without you, we are lost.
He got the Andy touch, and that was all he needed.
Yes.
Andy smack. Andy tap.
Andy took one look at Chad Henne. He's like, ain't no fucking way.
Well, hey, give credit to Henne because they had a 90-yard drive for a touchdown with Henne before Mahomes went back out there. So let's give respect due. I think Henne is one of the better backups in the league. Obviously, he can't do the same things as Mahomes, but I don't think this offense needs a Mahomes-level quarterback to drive it. I think a lot of good quarterbacks can be behind the wheel and just depend on a great player like Travis Kelce, and they also have a great center. And, their running game has been picking up steam a little with McKinnon. And who else? I mean, the receivers are decent, too. I think, it's not really bad where it's they have no depth. Maybe none of them are super elite, but they're all pretty good, I think, the receivers. So, you're bound to get them the ball at some point. I think the offense is fine. I know there's a lot of criticism after the Tyreek Hill trade, but I think even Henne can win a playoff game, honestly, with this team. Obviously, we want Patrick Mahomes back healthier than ever, if you do want the Chiefs to win, that is, because, he just does he does the extra things that no one else really does. Better on his feet, especially.
I want to face a full force Patrick Mahomes though in the Super Bowl and or Joe Burrow. Honestly, either or works because I'm like, would I rather have an injured Patrick Mahomes than people saying and blaming the issue on his injury for the reason why the Eagles won the Super Bowl, or a healthy Joe Burrow in which they can't make that excuse?
True. Recently, there's been discussion about Joe Burrow's play, which obviously through the regular season, especially the last half, really great. Ended up kind of getting into the spot of MVP conversation. Obviously, Mahomes really secured it. But I would say Burrow came in second, or will come in second in MVP votes, unless it's unanimous for Mahomes, which it might as well be. I don't know if that's ever happened. But regardless, Joe Burrow also in the playoffs, past 2 games, been pretty good. Even getting to the point where Orlovsky has been calling him on national TV the best quarterback, maybe not the best player, because, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, they do a lot within their position that isn't necessarily required of their position, on their feet and stuff like that. But as far as the quarterback duties go, he says Joe Burrow is the best at doing that, which I think he's definitely up there. I don't know if I would crown him that just yet. I would still say Mahomes. Honestly. I think Mahomes is so good at that stuff too.
Yeah.
But still, I can understand what Orlovsky's saying. He does feel like the old generation of quarterbacks resurrected, the Mannings and the Breeze and stuff like that, because he is that kind of archetype pocket passer. Doesn't really have to do too much on his feet, and he doesn't really ever, only when he really, really has to, when he's really pressured, and he just makes big plays from the pocket, basically.
Joey Burrow. I was trying to make up a nickname for him, but I was just all the nicknames that I had were dumb, so I decided not to make a nickname for him. Getting back to the Chiefs, it was a good game all across the board. It's just going to be interesting without Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes' injury, and it's going to be Jaguars honestly put up a really good fight, all considering, and
great run overall.
Yeah, everyone was coming from back-to-back first picks,
and the playoff win.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Bright future for Jacksonville. For Duval.
For Dougie P.
And it makes me feel better about the embarrassing performances the Colts have had against them.
Yes. Getting to the Bills-Bengals game.
Yeah. We already talked about Joe Burrow a little, but let's talk about the other side of that. Josh Allen, who very underwhelming. And the interesting thing after this, I think it was the general manager started talking about what the Bengals have as an advantage over the Bills, and it's the rookie deals that they're working with, and so they're not as stingent about cap space, because right now the Bills already gave the extension to Josh Allen. They traded for Stephon Diggs and signed him to an extension, so they're playing the max for this, I would say, an equal level of player as what the Bengals are paying the minimum for with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, because they are still on their rookie deals. Payday is coming soon, and that's going to be very interesting for the Bengals organization, having to pay both of those guys basically the max. I mean, I don't see how you can pay them anything less, unless they decide okay, we want to keep the roster building going, so we'll take a little bit of a cut. I don't know. I'm not an agent. I don't know how I would negotiate that. It was interesting that the general manager just kind of said well, it's a different sort of advantage that they have that we don't have. We're working with a bit of a different story here, which at the same time, I think he kind of admitted defeat, because I feel they've been one of the more active teams in free agency, bringing Von Miller in for such a hefty price, and then considering his age and the injury struggles recently, I don't know if that was the smartest decision. Honestly, he was very, very efficient through the regular season, but then when it comes down to this stretch, we see that he's nowhere to be found, which it's not really his fault, it's injuries, but at the same time, when you pick up a veteran like that, where that history, kind of have to take that into consideration a little. I think there's just a lot of things that the Bills organizationally haven't exactly figured out as far as how to build around Josh Allen successfully, because they don't really have a great run game the same way that the Bengals have managed to perfect with Samaje and Joe Mixon. Well, not necessarily perfect. I think actually the Bengals could do better in that aspect, but the Bills are one of the worst rushing teams as far as the better teams in the league, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got a rookie running back that was like pretty decently looked at as a prospect, but I just feel like they don't really they're not like a run team. They haven't really established that. And I think they're shooting themselves in the foot a lot, basically. And Josh Allen has been affected by that a little. We know what he can do in spite of it, but I don't think it's very consistent. And it showed when the Bengals came to town. And when the Bengals defense is on point, they really are on point, and it showed here.
Yeah, getting a little sidetracked though, kind of like expanding it. It's crazy to see. It was crazy to see like the dismantlement of the Bills, because even with all that considering, you would at least like think that they would put up more of a fight than only like putting up 10 points, in which it was Jamar's Chase's first snow game, and yeah, it was his first snow game. Yeah, I don't know, because I saw that on Instagram, like a little like mic'd up, where he was like, oh my god, this is my first snow game, but I don't know if they were like flashing back a couple of years ago, but I'm pretty sure this was their first snow game, or one of his first. Everything was pointing into the Bills' favor in this, and it was just interesting to see them not performing well, and it's going to be interesting to see what they kind of do with Josh Allen. I don't think they're going to do anything with him, like trade him away or anything, but it's interesting to see the dilemma that they're in, and it's also interesting too, because now we talked about this last year, about this kind of like new era of quarterbacks, and we're getting like more slim, because last year Philip Rivers, well, I guess it was a couple years ago, I forget when Philip Rivers retired. Yeah, it was a couple years ago, but like Drew Brees retired in that like span, and all these like older quarterbacks are getting older, like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are on the verge of retiring, and now we get all these new quarterbacks like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen getting compared to other like older quarterbacks, and the biggest comparison that I've been seeing is Josh Allen is just the gunslinger like Brett Favre was. Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they kind of come back that, because Brett Favre's famous for throwing interceptions. Josh Allen's famous now. It's getting turnover heavy. It's going to be interesting how they kind of avoid that next year, or kind of like bounce around that next year. But yeah, this was just a dismantlement. I was watching the first quarter of this, or first half of this, and the Bengals it was a complete domination on their part. They controlled the Bills in every which way. Like the defense was stopping the Bills on basically every drive, and yeah, this reminded me of like a classic Eagle win earlier in the season, where they went up big and then just controlled the second half, where they were able to kind of rest this quote unquote rest the starters, or not put them in do any like tricky plays that could get them injury prone. We'll talk about this in a little bit once we actually like start predicting the conference championships, but it's interesting to see like I feel like it's one of the few instances where it's like the 4 best teams within the championship, which I feel like the past few years we haven't really been getting.
Yeah, you get a surprise every now and then in the conference championship. Like, I mean, the one year the Jaguars made it, especially, you know. I mean, some people would even say last year, like when the Bengals made it, they weren't necessarily the best team, or even the second best team to come out of the AFC, but, you know, they just had a really good run. If you're talking about like basketball, like the Miami Heat, their run all the way to the finals against the Lakers, like many people believe that they weren't even like a top 2, top 3 best team in the AFC. They just had like a really good run in the bubble. Mm-hmm. And the thing just like worked out for them in the bubble, that they just kind of dominated, because I remember like the Pacers even that year were seeded over them in the playoffs, and like they had a pretty good year, but then like injuries kind of affected them through the summer, and then leading up to the bubble, I think we got 4-0'd by the Heat. And so that's kind of how I looked at the Bengals last year. I think they kind of fixed a lot of the spots where they had weaknesses, like the O-line. And so now I do consider them like an actual powerhouse that like would honestly deserve their Super Bowl win. I didn't think they deserved it last year, which is one of the reasons why I didn't root for them. I always like it when like a team that feels like they deserve it gets it. Yeah, I think the Bengals this year definitely, it's a different feeling. Like they're not necessarily the underdogs anymore. They actually feel like they're them boys, or what do they say?
I don't know.
Who Day or something like that.
Wasn't
they
that
Day
the
boys?
Saints?
I thought that was the Bengals.
I couldn't remember. I thought that was like Drew
Day?
Brees.
Yeah, it's Bengals.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh. For some reason, I thought it was like the Saints, like when Drew Brees was like in the huddle.
I think they have a different thing.
Oh,
But as far as snow game, I wanted to jump
Yeah.
back to what you said about the snow game, because I found that very interesting that the Bills talk a big game about home field advantage, especially with like the snowy conditions that they face. And I can understand that from a fan base perspective because they do have a loud fan environment when anyone comes up to Buffalo. Very dedicated fan base, probably the most dedicated next to maybe the 49ers or the Steelers.
what? What about the Eagles?
Eagles are up there, but I think like when you talk about like notoriety and like being the most well-traveled, I would say like Bills, Steelers, 49ers are top 3. Eagles crack like top 5 maybe.
Eagles travel really well.
I think they do as well. I'm not saying they don't travel well. I'm not
Yeah.
saying they're not a dedicated
Yeah.
fan base. Don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about top 3 out of 32 teams. Like
They should be number 1.
you have a lot of bias here. All right. Cowboys and Eagles obviously like very high up there, but you get my point. Like as far as like how everyone else like outside looking in views the NFL, I think like you would have to give it to those 3, especially the Steelers. I mean, come on. Those
the Steelers.
those fuckers, like come
Fucking
on.
bandwagoners.
That's what I'm
They're so
saying.
fucking
That's a part of
annoying.
it though. Like Bills had a huge bandwagon like run like I don't know 2 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
So many bandwagoners for the Bills. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm from the state of New York. I've always been a Bills fan. It's like, where have you been, dude? What are you talking about? You probably said the same shit about the Giants when they played the Patriots, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, besides that, they talk that big game, but I don't think they're actually set up for the snowy conditions of their home field advantage. In the same way that the Packers over the past 3 years, like their run game was kind of meh. I think this year they kind of fixed it. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones definitely was a better like dynamic than in years past. But the run game for the Bills is just like non-existent in my eyes. And yeah, they're not built for the advantage that they're supposed to have. It's a weird situation, whereas like, you know, in Miami they're very pass heavy. You know, they get their running done when they need to, but they're very pass heavy because they don't have to worry about those conditions. That's always kind of like how they've wanted to move forward with their organization. So in that case, I think they're a decently built team, but considering the circumstances environmentally, but I think the Bills, they just found a good quarterback, which is great. Obviously you should have a good quarterback at the helm. They got him the good wide receiver, but then they just didn't do the other side of the equation that you need to have. And I think it's weird. Very one-sided offense there. And that's why I don't really blame Josh Allen too much for all the turnovers, because it's like when they step out on the field, it's like, are you really going to expect to run that much as like the Bengals or the Chiefs? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to see that as much. You're going to expect Josh Allen to probably swing big.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of just what they've like prepared him to do. That's kind of their game plan at this point.
Yeah, and it's especially when like they're down like by 2 scores too. You're not going to like, that's like kind of like besides like the whole snow effect in the running game too, but it also like adds into like Josh Allen's kind of needing to make big plays or like that nervousness when he's down by 2 scores or 3 scores, and I feel like he's always being trapped in those situations that could have been solved by a running back, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I think they just need to re-sign LaShawn McCoy, the best snow running back in the history of the league.
How old is he?
He's doing. I don't know how old is he. I don't know how old he is, but he's announcing now, so I don't know if he would make a comeback or not.
Hey, we've seen crazy shit. I mean, Marshawn Lynch coming out of retirement like every
It's only
1 or 2
34.
years. Only 30? Okay. I mean,
it's on the older side.
side for running backs, but
Yeah.
I feel like the only way. I mean, what is his build? I kind of forget. Is he like
slim,
Slim? Yeah, I don't
like
know.
shady?
I feel like for an older running back to survive, you gotta be built like Marshawn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because like, you just throw him in at the goal line. Who's stopping him?
Yeah.
They literally did that. They played him like 2 snaps. I think it was the year that the Seahawks played the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
and then once got injured in the playoffs. I think they brought back Marshawn Lynch for like 2 games, and he played 2 snaps, and it was at the goal line.
That's so funny.
So yeah, we're gonna now go over the NFC side. talk about the Eagles and their dominant win, which we were talking like about whether or not it would be dominant because they did have a little break. Maybe they wouldn't get off to as hard of a start immediately. Obviously, the Giants, they had a huge away game streak. That was definitely not in their favor, so I was not expecting the Giants to win by any means, but I thought it'd be close. I was wrong. Caleb, you predicted a pretty hefty deficit, almost the same as what ended up happening. I think you're 3 points off, but
Pretty proud of myself.
yeah.
But yeah, this is the Eagles just dominate. They just simply were like, we're tired of this shit. We hate the haters. We hate this underdog mentality. Jalen Hurts is like, fuck you. Fuck everyone. We are the best team in the league. And they proved it this game. But it was against the Giants. But
Yeah.
but still, it's 38-7 in the playoffs is still pretty good, no matter the playoff teams. Because you know what? Especially in the divisional round, like teams make it to the playoffs. One, just to make it to the playoffs is a big deal. And to make it to the divisional round is a big deal as well too. So it's not like they're Giants are still a playoff team, and it's not like they're just like some run of the mill Texans team or like bottom tier team, you know. And it's just crazy to see the dismantlement of it. Yeah, I just like to see it. It like we were up 28-0 in the first half, which got me a little bit nervous because cut to the Chargers' 27-point lead that they had against the Jaguars a couple of weeks ago. And there was a couple other instances of, like, I just kept getting flashbacks of when, like, the Colts came back against the Chiefs, I believe, in that big deficit.
I'm glad that's the one you think of and not the more recent Colts thing that happened this season.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you thought of the Chiefs because yes, we did do that.
Yeah.
Biggest comeback in playoff history. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Put some respect on Andrew Luck and the Colts.
Yeah, because like I was like thinking more of like playoffs because it's
Yeah.
like one thing to do in the regular season, but it's another thing to do it prime time in the playoffs.
When you're not tanking.
Yeah. yes. The Giants are still a playoff team, and yeah, Eagles just completely dismantled them. And the Giants have a bad rush defense, and they simply could not stop the rushing defense, or no, the rushing offense of the Eagles. The rush defense of the Giants could not stop the rush offense of the Eagles, which the Eagles had 44 attempts rushing, 260 yards, and 3 total touchdowns, which is basically like a passing performance by a quarterback, kind of. If you like put it in like 44 attempts, like 200, that's basically like that's a quarterback stat right there. But Kenneth Gainwell got off. He had a crazy statistic.
Got off.
Went off. I meant went off.
That'd be crazy.
Got
It's
off.
such a good game that you. Yeah.
Imagine, just mid-game.
All right. Anyways, you know what? That's actually hilarious that you say that because there's been this trend on Twitter where people are like, what's a good male performance where they're not yelling and like all these different like variations of that. So people are just making fun of that now.
That's so funny.
Fuck, I wish I saw the good one.
I hope I become a meme now because of that. To finish up my thought about the rushing offense and not stalling because of my poor grammar, Kenneth Gainwell had like 12 carries, 112 yards, a touchdown. Miles Sanders had 17 carries, 90 yards. Jalen Hurts had 9 carries, 34 yards, and a touchdown. And Boston's got the giant killer, who I think scored the second touchdown of the game.
Yeah.
He had 6 carries, 32 yards, and a touchdown. And
The GOAT.
the GOAT. And then lastly, I want to say too, before I give it off to Titus, is that this is kind of a sidetrack, but I saw this one video on TikTok where this guy, he projected all first touchdown scorers of each of the games. He projected that Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase, Dallas Goedert, and Schultz, which is crazy that 3 out of the 4 first TD scorers of each game was a tight end, but he projected that all correctly, and he won like $72,000 on a $5 bet, which is absurd.
Not bad. All I will say about this game is give Daniel Jones some weapons. This would have been a shootout. I'm not saying the Giants would have won, but Daniel Jones had no one. That's all I'm gonna say. Saquon obviously is great. I think he did decent. I don't know. Look up his stats, but you can't just depend on Saquon. You can't depend on any one running back in the league to carry you, unless your name is like Derrick Henry. Because I mean, he comes with a whole different territory. I feel like he's an anomaly. And
it's hard when you get off to a deficit too, like the Giant, like a 28-point deficit or even a 14-point deficit, because I'm pretty sure they went down the field like 2 times in a row or 3. I don't know how many points they were able to get before they had to punt or like turnover on downs or something. But yeah, it's hard to have a comeback or keep that momentum going with a running back when it's supposed to be more of a pass-heavy performance.
Yeah. Shouts to Jones, though. Had a great run overall. Was not his best game, but I'm surprised he could even put anything together with this team. So
the Breda got a touchdown, though, for them. The water filter running back.
What?
The Breda, like the...
Is that how it's pronounced, Breda?
I don't know if that's how it's pronounced.
Oh,
but
okay.
it sounds familiar.
Or it looks familiar. Breda pronunciation. Let's find out. I feel like we have to do this a lot. Breda.
Same thing.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to talk about the 49ers and the Cowboys, which I try to go big. I try to say Cowboys, even though I think 49ers were obviously favored. It did not work out in that favor, but it was a very defensive game. Cowboys came close, came down to a terrible last drive. Schultz had the first touchdown, obviously, but, I mean, had back-to-back weird plays where it just didn't feel like he was focused at all overall. Mm-hmm. It just, like, it showed a lack of effort, and it was just sad. He's now a free agent, I think, which
really
interesting. Like, yeah, his contract was done after this.
Oh, okay.
Not to say he got like cut.
I thought the Cowboys were like, you're fucked. You're cut now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that his contract is up now, and I think they do have a guy who's been like waiting on the sidelines who was a good prospect, so they might just fuck around and try it out with him now. We'll see. Schultz might have to find a new home after a very weird playoff performance.
Hey,
like he's good when he's good, but then like weird schlumps at times.
Hey Schultz, come on to the Eagles.
You don't need.
Come on to the Eagles. Back up for Dallas Goedert. Play on the best team. You don't even have to play that often. It's just a couple snaps here and there. Just a dual tight end threat. Just come to the Eagles. It's okay. You want to play for the Eagles. You don't want to play for the Cowboys.
Right. Well, I wanted to set up for a Cowboys-Eagles game, a banger, in the conference championship game. But we'll still get 49ers, and I think that's cool. Cowboys, lol. That's all I got to say. I want to leave it at that for myself. You can still talk about it. I just want to say lol, and that's it.
Fuck the Cowboys. You fucking dirty-ass fucking team. You fucking shouldn't even have been in here. What? Here, let me just go get my VHS arc. Oh, fuck. Fuck the Cowboys. Let me go get my VHS archive in my fucking room of them, because that's the only way that you have to fucking watch that fucking last Super Bowl run that they had 20 plus years ago. What, 95? Huh? I wasn't even born then. It took me 6 years for me to get born before the last... You're not good. You fucking poverty team. Go, like, honestly, I think CFL is calling. They need a couple more teams. I think you should be one of them. Like, but thank you.
Canadian Football League? It's like one of the most southern teams.
Yes, go play for the CFL or something. Like, I don't know, like Cowboys. But thank you, honestly. Thank you for being so bad, because the reactions were beautiful. There's so many TV destructions around the state of Texas and Dallas specifically. I keep forgetting the statistics were, but they now lost six or seven straight divisional round, and they are the longest streak of not making it to the conference championship, which is wild. Cowboys, you're just a regular season type of team, and I'm so thankful for it, because your fans built up so much hope that they could actually make a playoff run, and then it all goes downhill. So sign Dak again. Sign Ezekiel Elliott. Your coach he's the guy. He's the guy. Jerry Jones is my favorite owner. He just knows how to take a team and destroy it and not take it anywhere. That's all I got to say. Thank you, 49ers. But sadly, we have to beat you this coming week.
We move on. Conference championship predictions. So it's the same thing as we did last week. Well, obviously, we only have 2 games, but we predict the winner, both teams' final score, obviously who scores the first touchdown, but we added 3 new prop bets as well since it's only 2 games. Who will have the most passing, who will have the most receiving, and who will have the most rushing yards. All yards. So yeah, very very offensive heavy predicting taking place. Super Bowl will expand that to even more, even to the defense. I mean, you could technically say first touchdown a defensive player though, so no one's stopping you. We are now going to start with the first game in the slate. It's at 3 p.m. on Fox. It's the Eagles and the 49ers. Who will be the first to clinch the Super Bowl spot?
Eagles.
Oh, you already put in the result. You're so annoying. I also say Eagles.
Eagles are going to win 24-17. It's going to be a defensive battle. 2 of the top 2 defenses playing each other in this fucking league. The offenses are going to have a troubled time getting anything across. The biggest thing that I'm worried about, though, is not Nick Bosa.
Oh.
Not Brock Purdy.
Oh. CMC?
Not even CMC.
Kittle?
It is. I guess it's a little bit of CMC and what he can do, but it's the Yak.
Yak Boys.
The Yak
yeah,
Boys.
that is CMC.
Yeah, that is CMC. The Yak Boys are in town, and you know what the Eagles' defense is bad at?
Stopping the Yak.
Stopping the Yak.
Can't get the tackle on the first touch.
Yeah. It's more so of the... Once they get into like that second, third level, our cornerbacks are so trash at tackling.
Damn.
And stopping it.
They're just coverage boys. They can't get physical.
Yeah, if you make it past the first level, I feel like it's going to be pretty easy going. But easy sledding for the 49ers, and they're going to get a shit ton of yards. And I think one of the biggest bright spots of the Eagles defense is containing teams so that they don't get past the first level. I think our defensive line is really good. Our linebackers are mediocre, but they're still they still have big plays, and we get to the quarterback a lot. It's just once they get past the first level, it's basically like a touchdown.
Smooth sailing.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that I'm worried about is the CMC, George Kittle, Debo, Ayuk.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just their entire offense, and I think that's why Brock Purdy has been so successful too. Is that he can, not that he
dump it off and then bloop.
Yeah, bloop, 50-yard touchdown. Don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy has some decently thrown deep balls, and he's completed some, but I feel like at least 75% of his yardage is just doing the bloop and having Debo run off for a 70-plus yard touchdown. So if we are able to contain that, I think we can stop that offense pretty good.
Honestly, I think that's how most offenses should be structured anyways. Yeah. I think it should be a 75% bloop, and you trust the talent to take it where it needs to go. The other 25%, fuck it, deep ball. I think that's fine. I think the 49ers, no one's saying 49ers offense is unsustainable. I think it's been proven with 3 different starting quarterbacks this year, that is a good offense, well put together. Yeah, we just got to see if it can go all the way. Yeah. The highest stakes. Also, I'm going to add more stakes to this. If the Eagles win, I stay in Philadelphia to watch the Super Bowl. If they lose, I'm going home to Michigan because my family hosts a pretty good Super Bowl party, and I've never been before. Never been. My aunt and uncle, mainly.
Can I come?
If you want to pay for your flight. Or, you can drive if you want to. But I'm flying. It's up to you, bud. But yeah, I will be there. Yeah, that's the stakes.
Yeah, pretty high stakes.
I don't know if this is actually confirmed. I don't know if my parents even are willing to get that last second flight for me. But that's what I negotiated that with my aunt And so I feel like she would force my parents' hands.
Yes, yes.
We'll see. Also, you said 24-17. I have 27-24, a little bit closer, but around the same range, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the defenses will also, step up a little. Wait, I forgot to go to the divisional round. Did any of our notes land? Because we had a couple of notes. Josh Allen, 2 interceptions.
He only had 1.
And I said a defensive touchdown. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my note here for the Eagles 49ers is that there will be combined at least 3 turnovers.
Damn, that's a lot of turnovers.
Between both teams.
I guess that's not too many.
At least 3 TOs.
Damn.
Yeah, it depends.
Imagine if it's just all Eagles, 3 interceptions by Brock. That would be so amazing.
See.
I want that to happen. That's the only way that I want that to come true. 49ers are won 12 in a row for a reason, and I'm kind of worried about that. But all streaks must come to an end. And I'm like, you have to lose eventually. And it's going to be the time that you lose. And an outside thing too. All 4 teams since the beginning of November only lost twice. Joe Burrow, 10-0. Brock Purdy, 7-0. Jalen Hurts, I think 8-1. Patty Mahomes, 1-something, 1-9, 9-1.
9-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty. These are like the 4 best teams in the conference championship, which is crazy.
They really are. That's why it's so important towards the end of the season. Like, it doesn't matter Josh Allen, going off at the start of the season. It's how you finish.
Exactly.
We say this all the time here on this show.
It's about that November, December ball.
Let's run through these props. We both have Jalen Hurts, most passing yards, because, Brock Purdy. I mean, he could, because Jalen Hurts is also, he goes on his legs a lot. Also, we talk about Yak Boys. It kind of depends on that, but I would still bet on Jalen.
Yeah.
Receiving, both have A.J. Brown. Different spellings of it, but that's all right. Most rushing yards, I actually have the first little dispute here. I actually have Elijah Mitchell instead of Christian McCaffrey, because I think last game Elijah Mitchell had the most rushing over Christian McCaffrey. Because they usually throw McCaffrey out as a receiving back a lot. Not to say he doesn't get a lot of steam going as a rusher, but I think Elijah Mitchell, like, end game as well, is typically their most dominant rusher. He even had the most carries, as you can see there. So that's what I'm going to bet on. I'm going to say that success will repeat itself. And then as far as first touchdown, I'll throw it back to Christian McCaffrey and say he gets the first touchdown, probably receiving one. But you also have Devontae Smith, which I think is a fair bet. He's been a really consistent scorer in the last half of the season. So,
yeah, my thinking on the things the people that I picked. Hold on. Hiccup. The reasoning that I have is that the 49ers have the number 1. There it is. Finally got that burp out. But the 49ers have the number 1 ranked rush defense. So I think the Jalen Hurts, I don't know how well I think they rank 5th passing defense, I believe. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to utilize that, and that's the reasoning why I think he's going to have the most passing yards. And then I just feel like it's going to be a dominant passing performance by Jalen Hurts, because I think he's going to be forced to pass a lot and then run when he needs to. And yeah, I don't know how well the Niners do against mobile quarterbacks, how well they are able to contain them, but if they don't do too well, then I feel like it's going to be a really hard time stopping Jalen Hurts. And I think A.J. Brown is going to have a monster game as well, because he was barely targeted last week against the Giants. And I think he only had like 3 receptions, 23 yards or something crazy like that. And I think there's a reason for that. And I think the Eagles are waiting to utilize their biggest threat. And A.J. Brown, going back to the Giants game really quick, it's crazy that we like dominated the Giants and we didn't even, 3 receptions, 22 yards. But we dominated the Giants without even using our number 1 wide receiver and barely using our receiving core. So I feel like the Eagles are going to utilize A.J. Brown a lot more within this game due to that. Because I feel like they're keeping some plays under wraps and making people forget about A.J. Brown when they should not.
we're going over to the Chiefs And the Bengals.
I got the Chiefs.
Yes. This will be 6:30 p.m. on CBS. That's basically, like right after Eagles 49ers. You won't really get a break. Might even be overlapping. I mean, we've seen it. Could be an OT or just a really long game. Yeah, I also have the Chiefs. We're both setting up for a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, which I think one of us may have said that at the beginning of the year too, but I don't remember. I know like midway we were thinking like maybe Bills Eagles, but Bills then tanked.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chiefs, they look too good. I think there's going to be some revenge here against the Bengals, back-to-back conference championship games, these two teams.
You're welcome.
I didn't ask for that.
You're welcome.
I didn't want it.
Okay.
I wasn't even low.
Yeah, but you're lower than me.
How do you know?
I know everything. I'm a time traveler, remember? I know everything about everything at once.
The Chiefs, we both have pretty high-scoring games. You say 38-34. Again, same range, but not exactly the same. I say 31-28. A little bit more stingy on the points on my side. But yeah, I think both quarterbacks will have a big day. But at the end of the day, we actually have disputes on who will have the most passing yards. I say Mahomes. I think Burrow will be a little bit more contained and they'll lean a little bit more on the rush this game. But we'll see. Joe Burrow.
I got Joey B.
Why? I
got Joey B because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to run the ball or use his legs more. And I think they're going to be doing a lot of rushing too. Even though I don't have the... Why are you doing that?
I mean, all right, we'll get to it.
But I think Joey B is going to go off and he's going to... I just don't trust that Chiefs defense. And I think that Joey B is going to get everyone involved. Everyone's going to be involved in this passing performance by Joey B. And I am going to predict that he has 400 yards passing.
Wow, 400.
400 yards passing.
That's crazy.
And now
as
Titus...
far as receiving yards go.
Yeah, Titus was bolting and onboarding Jason Kelce.
The Eagles center.
Oh.
Caleb thinks that in the Chiefs-Bengals game, that the Eagles center, Jason Kelce, had the most receiving yards.
What the fuck did I do?
Fuck up so bad. Oh, my God. All right, I say Jamar Chase, the Bengals wide receiver, because that makes sense. As much as I say Mahomes will have the most passing, I will say that when Joe Burrow does throw out, Chase will have the most success and the most going his way. Whereas Mahomes is going to spread the ball a little bit more. I can also see the argument for Travis Kelce because he did have a big game last week. Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Chase, not by much though. I don't think it's gonna be crazy dominant. I'm just gonna say he'll just be the most dominant factor in the passing, but
I agree.
Not by much. It's not gonna be like a historic game. The same way you say 400 yards for Burrow. Rushing though, you say Joe Mixon. I say Isaiah Pacheco. Actually, so I think Chiefs will dominate overall yards.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Pacheco will probably go off. I think Chiefs will dominate in yards, but will probably be held to like some field goals, whereas the Bengals, they'll be more efficient in the red zone, getting some touchdowns, and that's why it'll remain relatively close, even if the yard disparity is pretty large. That's where my head's at. And yeah, maybe a turnover or two will kind of swing the Chiefs' favor. But yeah, I think the Pacheco Mahomes dynamic has been pretty consistent, and that will win them the game. Whereas you say Burrow, Mixon, which is fair, but I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs will stiffen up on the rushing defense side.
Chiefs defense sucks in all aspects.
Okay.
Yeah.
First touchdown. We both have like the opposite running back of what like. No, I shouldn't even say the opposite running back. We both chose the like other like secondary running back that the other team has for the first touchdown. So I said Samaji.
Yeah, that's funny.
And you said Jerick McKinnon.
Mhm.
Even though for the most rushing yards you said Mixon and I said Pacheco. So we swapped teams and then also went a tier below. Actually, Pacheco and McKinnon are kind of like on the same level at this point. But regardless.
Wait.
Yeah, I think Samaji is actually like weirdly good in the red zone. I don't know if statistically this has really been proven or like seen from what I just like from what I look at. I just feel like Pacheco has been doing pretty well. No, sorry, Samaji. I keep like mixing up all 4 running backs in my head right now. I think Samaji has been doing pretty well when he needs to relieve Joe Mixon, and we'll see that in the first drive. At some point, maybe it'll be something like Joe Mixon does most of the drive, but then like has to like take a step out because he's just doing too much, and then maybe it'll even be a pass to Samaji. I don't know. You can't just give yourself these points. Can you stop it?
Stop what?
Stop it! Oh my gosh,
What
you're such a nuisance. All right. But for your case, McKinnon, I can see that too. If the Chiefs strike first, I think it's always someone random.
Yeah.
It's never like, I mean, last week it was Travis Kelce first, but I feel like sometimes it's just always a random person first touchdown.
I feel like that's just their offense. It's just random.
It's like, well, who are you?
Random
I forgot
people.
you were here. Juju? Yeah. I forgot you were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juju trying to replace the namesake of Tyreek Hill, and he's doing a shitty job at it.
Okay, I don't think that was the mentality.
Yeah.
Like, Juju's a great replacement for Tyreek Hill. I think it was just like,
I meant
bring in a bunch of wide receivers to try and fill that void. But
yeah, well, I mean, I guess I was just speaking on namesake, like.
Yeah, okay.
Because like
Notoriety.
there's like notoriety and stuff, because we were talking about all these like random like players that not a lot of people know about or get a lot of press normally, and Juju in the past got a lot of press for his stupid TikTok dances.
I don't even think it was just that. He had a really good.
You have to let me finish, Titus.
Yeah, but like, why would you start with the TikTok dance?
Because I've been saying that past 3 years I've been saying how much I hated his TikTok dances.
I think you're just a hater.
Why wouldn't I bring that up if I'm the number one hater of his TikTok dances?
Yeah. You know how much I hate your hating of it, so why wouldn't I dispute that?
Yeah, but I was just about to say that he also put up some good stats too.
All right, fine.
Gotta let me finish.
Yeah, but
Bitch.
It's not about how you finish. It was the order that I was pressed on.
Yeah, and I explained myself for why I said that order.
Yeah, but I don't like the order. I can still not like the order.
I like the order.
Fuck you.
At least I have a reasoning for the order.
Sure.
If the Chiefs Eagles are in the Super Bowl, that podcast on New Heights is going to be immaculate. That's why I was thinking Jason Kelce, because I was just thinking this entire time, like, imagine Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce's podcast that they have, New Heights.
You sound like such a fanboy.
I am. Like, it's so fucking successful. Like,
no, yeah.
Like, it fucking blew up, and I was there since
it's
day
probably
one.
like surpassed the heights of Pat McAfee show. You know, I feel like this is the new it girl of the NFL media, player-led media.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, I agree, because they're so sexy. They're getting like they had Patrick Mahomes on. They got Jalen Hurts on.
Those are the only 2 episodes I've ever watched.
Really?
Yeah, I like it when they interview, but just their dynamic alone doesn't. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot. I like watching some of the clips though.
Yeah.
But as far as full episodes, I've only seen the interviews. Jalen Hurts was great.
I still haven't watched the full one of that.
You're dumb.
You're
a fake fan, actually.
You're a fake fan.
That's crazy. Wait, you're a fake fan. You don't even like Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts. That's crazy, man.
And they had
Did you just press caps lock? What'd you press?
Escape.
What do you think that's gonna do?
I don't know, escape. But they also had Paul Rudd on, and they had Gronk on.
Wait, what? They had Paul Rudd on?
Yeah.
You're joking.
No.
What the fuck? Why?
Because
that's so random.
Paul Rudd's a Chiefs fan.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
That is.
Travis Kelce and Paul Rudd are like friends.
That is double random.
Yeah, but look at them, pretty sexy motherfuckers.
Who's a Chiefs fan?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I've met a Chiefs fan, like legitimately.
I was also really confused, and then they just had Your favorite tight end of all time.
George Kittle.
Grok.
Fuck you.
Gronk. Drunk.
They need to get Kittle on there.
They do. Wait, where is this? Yeah, this motherfucker.
I hate Gronk.
Bro, it's your favorite tight end of all time.
No.
It probably goes him, then probably like...
I respect his game a lot, especially in his prime, but I do not like him.
Gronkowski, if you're watching, we live at the address of...
Why would he... What? Where was that joke at?
I don't need... Like, so that he could like come...
Why?
I don't know. That was a bad joke. Look, Titus, you know this about me. Some jokes land. Most of the times they don't.
Yeah, I don't think they land.
Huh? Yeah.
Just in general. They just don't land.
No, you have to admit some like on occasion they are occasionally.
Name one time.
Well, they're just well, you know my brain with Jason and Kelsey. Jason and Travis.
They should both. I mean, they probably do. Both go by Kelsey within their locker rooms because I feel like that's a good last name to like use as just like a name.
Yeah.
You know, like no one would just be like, "Yo, Oldham," like that doesn't work.
Or yo,
But like,
what up,
"Yo, Kelsey,
Leonzo?
what's the good?" You know, that's it.
What
I mean,
up,
that does
Leonzo?
actually sound like a first name because Kelsey is. But,
Yeah.
Okay. Someone's done. If you say so, we're wrapping up. Thanks for listening or watching or feeling.
I mean, do you got anything to say?
Well, I'm wrapping up. Like
Alright.
that's what you do at the end of an episode.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if like me closing my laptop was cutting you off from saying anything else.
No, I wasn't saying that, but then you actually did go and cut me off in the middle of the outro. So your brain is an anomaly. I will say that. All right, thanks for watching. That's all.
I'm hungry.
All right, eat.
I want to go get some food.
What the fuck? Why'd you put 100%
What do you mean?
over the quarterback name?
Bro, my laptop was glitching. I don't know what I was doing or my laptop was doing.
I do need food, but I'm preferring to stay here and
Why?
save money because I'm imagining Sunday we're going out.
Yeah.
And probably I'm going to want to spend the money.
Tyrone still hasn't messaged me. I think I'm canceled.
It's recording.
Fuck. Hey guys. Should you tilt it up a little? I feel like we're only barely seen. Maybe from this perspective I'm just wrong. Do you know what I mean?
I was trying to get more of the like the cold,
Yeah, but it's fine because I also have the cold thing up here. So.
but I like the cold thing.
Well, yeah, a sliver of it I think is fine. But I think we're more important overall to the composition.
Is the microphone recording?
No.
Oh.
No,
Now it is.
Okay.
Sit down. So guys, I need to talk to you. Wow, it's really picking up my vocals. That's crazy. Why?
because I can. That's what microphones do, you know?
Wait,
They pick up your
I
audio.
think yours is it's disconnected. Oh come
Hello?
on. Now we have to probably reset.
No. Don't tell me that.
It still hasn't come back.